It's game day, everybody, and this is Before the Sandstorm here on Gamecock Central. Kendall Smith and Jack Veltri joining you here. We hope that you're all doing well and having a great start to your Saturday mornings. As you can tell, this is a recording, so we are not joining you live today, and that is because I am in Fort Myers, Florida for a wedding, and Jack is in College Station getting ready for the game. It kicks off at 11 Central Time, 12 Eastern Time, so a very early kickoff here today, Jack, and you are gearing up. You are getting ready to go in College Station, and I've got to know how you feel about the early kick. Jack always has an opinion on the times of when these games start. Do you feel good about an 11 o'clock kick where you're at?
So I like it from the standpoint of get the game in, get it done, and have the rest of the day to watch college football later on. The dilemma with this trip, though, Kendall, is, again, we're recording this, but when it comes to Saturday, I am going to be driving from Houston to the game because I don't think there's a ton of hotels in College Station or anything near College Station to begin with, because if you drive from Houston, which is where me and CJ are flying in, my photographer, flying into Houston, you drive about an hour and a half to College Station. There's really nothing on the way there. So, yeah, I guess Shu booked us in a hotel in Houston. And so it's going to be a very early morning on Saturday, driving out to Kyle Field, getting ready for that game. But yeah, Kendall, I'm feeling good about this one. With the vibes are good. I know South Carolina is not favored.
Wow.
Not favorite at all in this
From
game.
Texas A&M's biggest fan, Jack Veltri.
Biggest.
You
fan.
are a big Texas A&M fan this year. You've really given them a lot of props,
Hey,
a lot of credit.
Hey,
you are on the Mike Elko train, so to speak. Which I don't blame you. I kind of am too.
But they deserve props, right? They are
Are
proving
they the number
everybody
one
wrong
team in the country?
Yeah. Look, I was not a huge.
Oh,
Here's the thing. I was
you
not.
said Indiana and Ohio State. Bye. You don't care about the Big Ten.
I was not a huge believer in A&M coming into the year, but they have definitely proved me wrong, and I think they're very much well on their way to go into the college football playoff. Regardless of what happens, the final three games, I mean, shoot, they could drop the game to South Carolina today and drop the game to Texas on the road in Austin in a few weeks and be 10-2, and they're probably still in the playoff. But this team has been really, really good this year, and you got to give props where it's due. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter.
Okay, Jack, this one is a big one today. We talked about it earlier in the week. It's a big one for multiple reasons. The first reason is that South Carolina has to win this game today to maintain the opportunity to become bowl eligible. They lose today, that is over. The best they can be this season is 5-7 if they lose today's game. So that's really big. The other reason why today's game is big is because South Carolina will see a new primary play caller today, Mike Furry. So initially, right off the jump, as we get ready for today's game, what are you expecting to see from this offense?
It's hard to really forecast for sure what's going to happen until we actually get into game time, because we've heard South Carolina, Shane Beamer, talk about how they've made some tweaks to the playbook, and we've heard some of the players talk about eliminating some of the clutter from the playbook and going with the best plays that work. We've heard South Carolina talk about simplifying the playbook for a few weeks now. But now with Mike Furry taking over as the play caller, I think it's hard to imagine an overall scheme change. But certainly we're going to probably see tweaks in what plays are called in certain situations, what type of plays South Carolina is going to be running more frequently than the others. That'll be more so interesting to see. I think the big thing in this game, Kendall, though, is not so much what South Carolina is going to run, but just how quick and efficient they can be. Because you're facing a really good Texas A&M defense with, Cassius Howell, who has 10.5 sacks on the year, coming off the edge for the Aggies. He's been incredible this season. And so my point is, you're going to have to be, if you're Lenore Sellers, you're going to have to be quick getting the ball out in this game. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of this short, intermediate passing game where you're just trying to get some quick pass plays off to pick up yardage and extend drives. I don't think you're going to win this game by Kendall. Here we go, talking about running the ball up the middle and plays like that. I think you really gotta get a little bit creative too. I think maybe taking some chances downfield, but to move the chains and move the sticks, I do feel like you're going to have to make some quick throws and have Lenoris get on his horse, so to speak. So keep the ball in 16's hands, but if you're Mike Furrier, you're probably stressing this week. Hey, look, we got to get the ball out quick. We got to get the ball into our receivers' hands and make sure that Howell and others on this Texas A&M defense are not swarming the quarterback, because they've been very good at getting to quarterbacks throughout the season.
So we've talked a lot about how good Texas A&M's defense is and what South Carolina needs to do from an offensive standpoint to be able to deal with that. Let's flip the script a little bit and talk about what South Carolina's defense needs to do to stop Texas A&M's offense, which doesn't maybe get the same flowers, I guess, as the defense does, but still is a very, very good, efficient, strong offense.
So that's an interesting point you bring up, Kendall, because I almost disagree in a lot of ways, because I think this offense is just super, super talented. I think the offense gets more props than the defense in a lot of ways, because look at what Marcel Reed's doing this year in his sophomore season. He's been very, very good. Now, they won't have Le'Veon Moss this weekend, but they do have Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion, the two leading receivers on this team. Two of the best receivers, not just in the SEC, but in the country. Like, put that duo up against probably any in the country, and you feel pretty good about them. Now, the one thing we don't know yet, and this is where recording this kind of hurts us a little bit. We don't know at the time of right now if Mario Craver will be good to go for Saturday. He's listed as questionable as of the initial injury report from the SEC. So by Saturday, he could be good to go. But let's assume he is out there, and Casey Concepcion also out there. That's a really tough tandem to stop if you're South Carolina. And not to mention, it's not even just the passing game that you have to worry about, because Marcel Reed's definitely a threat to throw with his arm a lot. I think he relies a lot on his arm, and then has the legs to run as a nice little backup option, which he's been pretty efficient as a runner this season with nearly 400 yards on the ground and 6 touchdowns. That's the thing that South Carolina's got to worry about, is not just trying to stop him through the air, but you got to always be ready for the fact that he can run. Very much like Lenoris Sellers in a lot of ways, though I think Reed is definitely better with his arm, which I think he's a little bit more reliant on than what Sellers is. So that's the challenge this weekend, is a lot of different weapons in this offense that Reed can use, and he's his own best weapon too, considering he can run the football efficiently.
Yeah, and we mentioned it the other day on GC Live. There's not a part of this Texas A&M team that is weak. They are really just across the board a very, very, very good team, and we have circled this game on the calendar for South Carolina for a while in terms of one that we knew would be extremely difficult. And a lot of that just has to do with not only Texas A&M being a good team, but it being a really, really tough place to play as well. Everybody knows it. It's not easy to play at Texas A&M. So when you look at this game, if you're South Carolina, Jack, where do you feel like South Carolina might be able to capitalize if there is a weakness, just a small weakness in this Texas A&M team? Where can South Carolina capitalize? And I know that's a hard question because there's not a lot of weakness.
Yeah, that's the main thing, because there's just not a ton of weaknesses. Reed doesn't get sacked a ton. He's only been sacked 7 times this year. A&M's also got a really good, strong offensive line. We've heard so much about this defense. I think I can't really pinpoint it, but I think you just gotta go back to what Lenoris Sellers did against this defense last year. I know things change year to year, but Lenoris had arguably his best game as a passer and a runner against Texas A&M last year. I really think you kind of gotta. It's not a weakness, but it's Lenoris did well against this defense last year. It's not impossible to think that he can't do it again. And we heard Mike Elko talk about it this week on Monday in his press conference, just talking about, hey, Lenoris carved us up last year, and we got to find a way to go ahead and stop him, because he's still that big big, strong, dangerous athlete on the field. I know he has not had the best season by any stretch. He's definitely been a bit underwhelming overall this year, and there's a lot of factors for that, but we're not going to get into that. I think it's more so just the threat of knowing Lenoris can be that guy at any time, and especially that he's proven it to be really good against Texas A&M before. I think that is something that you gotta keep an eye on this weekend, and it's not a weakness by any means for A&M, but it's like, hey, like they didn't stop him last year, and it could very well be the same case again this time around.
Well, and South Carolina has been close in several of these games, and we're still waiting. Every year is different, but I know we always say this. South Carolina tends to have one game every year where they kind of shock everybody. That game has not happened yet, and this would be the game for it to happen because it's not going to be a shock, really, if South Carolina beats Coastal Carolina and even Clemson. It won't be shocking. Those are teams that South Carolina, could be, should be, however you want to say it. Texas A&M, no one's really predicting that. So South Carolina has come close this year, and that's a point Shane Beamer has made as well. Like, there have been a lot of close moments, but what does it take to get over the finish line? Because I think that's been a huge point of frustration this year, Jack, on game days when South Carolina's there, they're in it until the fourth quarter. We go back to the Alabama game and talk all about that all over again, but we're not going to. It's been like, okay, it's there. I'm reaching out to grab it. Oh, I'm going to pull it right back. Take it away. That's how it feels.
It does. It does. It's happened a lot this year, Kendall, where it's not even just the Alabama game. It's the Missouri game. It's the LSU game. It's I'm trying to think of other games here. I mean, Vanderbilt, they weren't really in it. I mean, there haven't been many times this year where South Carolina hasn't been in it going into the final quarter. They've been very close. Ole Miss, it was a pretty close game going into the fourth quarter. I mean, South Carolina, you think if a few things go differently, they're probably not even talking about missing a bowl game right now. But here we are. The fact of the matter is, Kendall, South Carolina has played okay through three quarters for the most part this season. But when it comes to the fourth quarter, normally a very good time when South Carolina finishes games and closes things out. We know how Shane Beamer talks about that all the time, that they're good at finishing off teams. But this year has not been the case, and it's just kind of been one of those things in a season where seemingly everything that can go wrong has gone wrong, and you wonder if this is the week where maybe things can turn around. But guess what? This is arguably the best team you're going to be facing on your schedule all season, and it's on the road too. So you never know what can happen. Get this game to the fourth quarter and you have a chance. But, I mean, if history tells us anything, South Carolina hasn't been able to close out a game all year. And why should that change now against a team that's really, really good from start to finish?
Well, now's the time to start, Jack.
It is.
We are doing positive vibes only here because somebody commented that on our GC Live the other day. So I'm trying to take that to heart.
Find some joy, guys.
Maybe it'll change this week. You just never know. That's why we play the game. So We'll have to see what happens with this week. But yeah, you mentioned the hardest team on South Carolina's schedule, the best team, Texas A&M. Jack says they're the best team in the country. And there's a lot of people that wouldn't disagree with that statement. That is not a hot take per se. There are definitely people out there that completely agree with what Jack Veltri is saying. So while we're at it, comment down below. Let us know who you think the best team in the country is. I know that there could be arguments made for Indiana, Ohio State. Ohio State's done everything they need to do this year, but I don't know. We'll have to see how it all goes. Okay, so Jack, let's go ahead and get into some staff picks for this week. We had some fun with this one, and there's some good ones, I think. So let me know what you think. Let's start Texas, Georgia. What do we got?
Oh, this is an interesting one.
Tough one.
I like Georgia in this one. I think Texas is gonna be tough for Texas to go on the road at night at Sanford Stadium, winning in that place. Georgia's playing some good football right now. The one thing you could say is that Texas's season is essentially on the line in this game, and they need to win this game and win the finale against Texas A&M to make the college football playoff more likely than not. And you could still make an argument that even with 3 losses, they could get in because they would have wins over they lost to Florida and they lost to Ohio State. And if they lose one of these 2 games to A&M or Georgia. That'd be tough, but they have some good wins on the schedule, including Vanderbilt, and we'll see if they get one of these ones coming up. But starting this weekend, it's going to be tough for Texas to get the job done. So give me the Dogs.
I have Georgia winning this game as well. Okay, next up on the list, let's go back to the Big Ten. Yeah. Iowa at Southern Cal.
This is an interesting one because Iowa played very good against Oregon last week in a rain-filled game. It was a very Big Ten type of game. I think that Oregon has kind of earned their Big Ten stripes a little bit. Now, same time, Southern Cal has also been playing some pretty good football throughout this season, and you never know with these teams that have to go out from the East Coast to the West Coast, and it's the same for the teams that have to go out from the West Coast to the East Coast. I personally like Southern Cal in this one. I just think if Iowa can play their brand of football and get it into a defensive battle, I like Iowa. But because it's at home for Southern Cal, because they have the better offense with Jaden Mayaba, I like Southern Cal to win this game at home.
I also have Southern Cal winning this game at home. Remember the one time Jack said USC?
I've refrained from that because
Jack will never, ever live that day down.
Because it causes so many unnecessary problems, even though it is, I'm not even going to say it. Not even going to say what I'm thinking because I don't want to cause any.
We all know where you're going, Jack.
I'd be a troublemaker, Kendall. We don't need that on here.
Don't say it, Jack.
I'm not going to. I'm not saying it. I'm not.
Okay, let's do one more. Let's do TCU at BYU. I have BYU winning this game. BYU is the better team, but TCU hasn't had itself a bad year. So,
TCU,
what do you got?
I got like the.
You kind of do have the TCU colors on right now.
I do have the TCU colors on, I guess, but I am going with the Mormons. I like BYU this year. I know, really bad loss to Texas Tech last week on the road, but let's not act like Texas Tech isn't some great program this season with a lot of money to use in NIL. BYU still very much alive in the Big 12. I think they're going to end up playing Texas Tech again in the Big 12 championship game for a chance to go to the college football playoff. I like the Mormons this week, so let's go with Brigham Young.
BYU is where I'm at too. Jack, I think this is like the first time all year that you and I have gone through these picks and had the same 3 picks.
Not bad. It's not bad. We got to agree at some point.
Oh, where am I at? I knew I had a really bad week. I was like on top, and then I had a really bad week.
Ooh. No, you actually have been doing pretty good. I'll pull it up real quick, but
hold please, everybody. This is not live, but this is live, and this is live to tape.
Yes,
as they say.
Live to tape. Hold on, I'm getting there. Hold on, where is it? Right, here we go. Because I'm glad you asked because I did calculate.
We have no updates from Jack Veltri, the commissioner of our league.
Let's see.
Picks in our group chat. Nothing. Heard nothing from Jack.
Well, I will eventually. Kendall, you are 78-40 this season. And if you would like to know where I am 71-47, not having a good year. So in reference, though, you're tied with Wes for, I think, 3rd in our league. So
I don't want to be the bronze. I want to be the gold.
You do. But here's the thing. You got time to figure this thing out. There is still a long season ahead of us.
Hit the road, Wes Mitchell.
I know. Wes has got to get out of being in.
Get out of there. Who's in first and second? Who do I need to?
Griffin is in first.
What's his record?
81 wins. So he's like 2 or 3 ahead of you.
3 games back.
Yeah. I think Elijah Campbell's got 79. So
okay, so I'm right in the mix for potentially second. By the way, everybody, like nothing comes of this. If you win, you could say, "Oh, you won."
It's just fun. It's just pride.
It's just for fun. So that's great.
Fun,
okay, this weekend I do not have South Carolina. I'm just jumping straight to it. I don't have South Carolina beating Texas A&M. Unfortunately, as much as I would love to see that happen, I can't go that route this week.
Let's hear.
31-13 is my final. Okay.
What's your score prediction?
31-13 is my. I hope I'm so wrong. I genuinely do. I want Mike Furry to go out there, crush it, do an amazing job as the primary play caller. I believe in him. I know the players are energized around him, excited to play for him. So I hope that I am wrong. This is just based on what I've seen already this season. But let's go. I want to get proven wrong.
I would love to be proven wrong too. I actually think making the OC change was the right move for Shane Beamer. Though I will say,
I think it was the right move too.
It's way too late in the season though to make that change. It should have happened when Lonnie Teasley was fired. Mike Shula should have been gone along with him after that before that first bye week. But it's either here nor there. Here's the thing: the way I look at South Carolina is nobody's giving them a chance this weekend. They're massive underdogs going on the road. Kyle Field, one of the toughest environments in college football. You've heard it from me. You've heard it from everyone talking about how A&M is so good, all this and that. And they are a very good football team. It would not surprise me if South Carolina has some tricks up its sleeve to come out here and play a pretty good football game. I think coming off the bye week should definitely help. That said, you can only put so much lipstick on a pig. And this team, they've been bad pretty much all year. They haven't won a game since late September. I just don't see it this weekend. I think South Carolina's going to look better, but better is not good enough to win against a very high-quality football team. Give me Texas A&M to win this game 34-20. I think South Carolina will cover, but I just don't see the Gamecocks having enough firepower to slow this A&M team down both offensively and defensively, and thus they'll miss a bowl game.
And on that note, everybody, that is before the Sandstorm here on Gamecock Central.
What a negative note! No. We cannot go out. We do not
know what's going to happen. Okay, let's see. Let's speak positive vibes into the world. South Carolina's going to win. South Carolina's going to win. South Carolina's going to win. There we go.
They'll find a way to play better, and maybe they'll win.
Let's go. All right. Prove the haters wrong, South Carolina. I know you can do it. Yeah. Today, Kyle Field, 11 Central, 12 Eastern, and you all are very excited. I know, because it's game day. So we look forward to this all year. So we'll see if South Carolina can pull off the upset. We appreciate all of you joining us here. Jack is in College Station, so stay up to date with all of his updates. He's got them over on GamecockCentral.com and on his personal X account, Jack Veltri, right?
Jack T. Veltri. Got to get the T in there.
T. Veltri. So be sure to go check that out. And I will see you all soon. So will Jack. We'll be back next week with plenty more. So for Jack Veltri, I'm Kendall Smith. This has been Before the Sandstorm here on Gamecock Central. We'll see you soon.